Hey guys, time for another video, but this time it's a short series, as I'm going to tell you the story of how my first D&D character, Noella, and an NPC named Yasahiro fell in love. I'm giving this story because I love them, but also because they've been asked about a lot over on Cammy's channel, since she's actually made a couple of songs that have been inspired by Noella and her love with Yasahiro. I'll link the songs in the description. But for now, let me give a quick bio of these characters. Noella, my character, is a half-elf swashbuckler rogue. Female, 24 years old, 5'3". She's a runaway pirate and is awful at first impressions because of her blunt tongue and questionable morality. And then there's Yasahiro, an NPC owned by my GM, Jamie. He is a human, assassin rogue multi-class samurai fighter, male, 27 years old, and 6 foot even. He's one of the commanding officers in an assassin's guild. He's intimidating and short with his words, always seems to be in a bad mood. Now that you've been introduced, we can now begin the animatic. Because that's how I want to tell the story, so let's go! Let's start with the first arc of this relationship! The enemy arc. How these two first met was interesting because Yasahiro was actually a client to the adventuring guild that Noella joined. He came to their guild in search of his sister that went missing. Funny enough, Noella was instructed by one of her bosses to not say a word to Yasahiro, because they believed that Noella would just piss him off beyond belief. Which, to be fair, they weren't completely wrong. So Noella kept quiet in the beginning, but after seeing Yasahiro be an ass to everyone, and even the guards they were questioning, she finally spoke up and bluntly told him that maybe if he wasn't such a dick, people would be more willing to help. Yasahiro sharply turned to her and asked her to repeat, which she did, without hesitation. I honestly thought that he was going to take his sword out on her, but he didn't. He just made a remark about how the people of this city don't deserve his kindness, and they wouldn't give it to him even if he was polite. So Noella figured out that he had a history with this city, but still just kept his gaze, a flat look on her face. After that, he continued to be a bit rough with her whenever they spoke. He would roughly push past her and elbow her out of the way during their search. She didn't act much better towards him either, refusing to curve her tongue or cower. But even with all of this, she surprisingly was the only one to show a little bit of care towards him after he found the results of his sister's disappearance. His sister purposely ran away and continued to run away, basically telling Yasahiro to fuck off as she ran off to be with the enemy demigod. This broke Yasahiro, and he had fallen to his knees in the streets. Everyone else in the group quickly made their way to the tavern to report what happened, but Noella was the only one that stayed behind. She grabbed his arm and helped him to his knees. She muttered an awkward apology to him, and that's when he snapped out of it and went back to his usual self, brushing off her help. They split from there and didn't see each other until Noella sought him out because of a disturbing note she was given. The note was very vague and signed with red ink. She couldn't tell if it meant she was in danger from her old pirate crew, as they used red ink like this, or if it was just a friendly note from the Assassin's Guild, since they also favored red. So she found Yasahiro and asked about it, where he was able to confirm that it was from the Assassin's Guild. The guild was just thanking her for a warning she gave them. Which he looks at her confused, asking why she would have this note. Noella brushed it off and lied about it, made a deception check, and failed. Which is a big deal because look, Noella is made to lie. She has expertise in it. This is the first time she has failed, and it's with him. So, he just squints at her, but nods, deciding not to say anything about it. They talk a little bit more and bid each other farewell in thieves' cant hand signals, like dorks. The relations improve a little bit after that, but they are still wary of each other. This wariness increases to a dangerous level one day when Noella eavesdrops on a conversation between Yasahiro and their team cleric, Hector. In this conversation, Yasahiro refers to Noella as a pirate, which immediately sets off alarms for her because, that's actually a big secret at the time. No one is supposed to know that she's a pirate. She's just supposed to be a traveling sailor. So, Noella goes into a big paranoid spiral about it, and ends up believing she's in danger. She even thinks that Yasahiro might be hired to kill her, or capture her and bring her back to the pirate gang she left. Not being able to handle the paranoia anymore, she goes to confront Yasahiro, finding him sitting on the rooftop one dark night. Because, of course, he'd be on a fucking rooftop. At night. But anyways, there, she confronts him on how he knows she's a pirate. Yasahiro raises an eyebrow and looks her up and down, which she says that she doesn't believe he just guessed that from how she looks, so fess up. And he does. He explains that he's known ever since she showed him the note, because he was there the night the guild was warned, and they were warned about a pirate raid. A raid by a pirate gang that only a pirate from this crew could know. So it's not hard to just put the math together and figure it out. Which Noella looks annoyed about, but stays quiet. So Yasahiro continues to speak and asks her if she's going back to them. And she sharply says, "No, I will never go back to them." He stays quiet. She then asks him what he's going to do with this information. Anxiety building up in her at all the possibilities. Was he going to kill her? Was he going to bring her back? Was he going to use this as blackmail? Yasahiro just shrugged and sat down, telling her he wasn't going to do anything with it. And he even showed some guilt for having mentioned it to Hector. He mentions how he would never have said it if he had known she was hiding it. And this all just shocks Noella. She doesn't understand this. She doesn't understand how he had no plans with this information, and how he doesn't seem bothered by it at all. So she's just quiet, leaving Yasahiro to mutter about how he understands hiding things. And Noella feels like collapsing, suddenly feeling exhausted from all of this anxiety that was plaguing her that is now just gone. So she asks if she can sit with him, and he motions to the spot next to him and tells her to go for it. So she sits next to him. Just two edgy rogues sitting on a rooftop, looking at the stars. 5 feet apart because they're not straight. No, really. Noella is Demi and Yasahiro is Bi. Anyways, Noella still ends up feeling awkward at it, just being quiet, but she doesn't know how to just talk to people. So she tries to mimic a normal person by asking him how he is, which, of course, he says that he's fine. As fine as he can be in this shit city. So Noella's like, cool. Have you gotten anything to eat or drink? Which Yasahiro just snorts and is like, what? Do you care about me now? And that catches her off guard, as she actually has no idea, but she guesses. I don't know, maybe? Yasahiro stares at her, quiet, before pulling up his scarf to his mouth and giving a small laugh, remarking how she is a strange one. And that may have been the first moment of a skipped heartbeat. But it's ignored as he goes on to say that no, he hasn't had much, and he's been sleeping outside, just a hobo assassin man. So Noella decides, like, well, okay, wait here, and goes off to gather things. When she gets back, she has a backpack full of food and wine and a bedroll for him, having swiped it all, and is just like, here, and gives it to him. Which, obviously, Yasahiro's like, what? Noella... And he tries to deny it all, saying how he can't accept it. He's too proud. And Noella, taking a drink from the wine bottle, just very flatly says, you can't survive on pride. So take it or don't. I don't really care about arguing with you. Yasahiro frowns, thinking about it, and then he slowly reaches out and takes the bread from the pile and bites into it, holding out his hand for the wine. Noella smiles and hands it to him, and they just silently stay there, eating and drinking, looking at the stars, the air between them more comfortable. And so their social link upgrades to friends, and we'll end it there on that arc. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and me trying out an animatic for this. I'm doing animatic form for this because it's a much shorter series compared to Atlantis, and I want to practice for when I get to certain parts of Atlantis that I do want to be animatics. So yeah, I'll see you in the next arc, the friendship arc. Till then, bye!